Hey guys, my name is Andrew and I'm the stream manager for Spikeball. I just wanted to share a couple things before we get started. First, if you could make sure that you're following us by pressing the follow button at the top of the stream, then you'll get notified every time we go live or release any future content. If you do miss any of our streams or content that we release, we're uploading them all to our YouTube channel after each stream. That YouTube channel is youtube.com/SpikeballRoundnet Association. If you go to the About section of our channel here on Twitch, you'll find a list of chat commands. Those chat commands can be used anytime during the stream. They'll bring up some helpful links like the SRA Facebook group or things like that. So feel free to use those whenever you want. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in chat.
Hello, hello. Hopefully everyone can hear me. If so, maybe give me a yes in the chat, if you're in the chat. Can you hear the background music? Hopefully it's not too loud. Yes, I'm seeing some yeses. Yo, how? Cool. Well, sweet. I'm stoked to be with you guys who are here. Can hear you great. Oh, perfect. Yeah. I'm stoked to kind of talk about some roundnet, talk some defense, keys to defense. I love defense. It's kind of the reason I started playing Spikeball or roundnet, and kind of one of the main reasons why I'm still playing just those ups that you can get in sports and in the game of roundnet, making a defensive play. I'll talk a little bit more about that. But yeah, I thought I would start off in terms of talking about defense. In order for you to believe that defense is worth it, or there's been a lot of talk in the Facebook page, if you're part of that, about how to change the game, why play defense when serves are so powerful right now, and phrases of serve ball being brought up. So before talking about how to do defense well, I thought I would try to sell you a little bit on why defense matters. If you don't believe that defense is even possible, or that it matters to being a good roundnet player or being good at roundnet, then there's no point in trying it or getting better at it if you don't believe it matters or it works. So I'm going to start with that. My first point on why defense matters, I kind of said it already, but I think it's the best part of the game. I think it's the best part about roundnet. Even hearing Jordy and Allie talk last week, if you were on stream last week, they talked about how Winging It was one of their favorite teams to play against because rallies happen. And rallies are only created by one, either bad hitting or by defense, making good plays on defense. And so, if you love rallies and you love making a defensive stop, you know that defense matters. And so I think it's the best part of the game, not only as a player, making that defensive stop in a crucial game, or even just making a dig on someone's like really hard hit or on a drop shot, and then getting it back and returning that and winning the point and getting a break point. There's nothing like that feeling, especially in a close game. It can be a momentum changer in a game if you make a defensive stop, as opposed to yes, an ace can be that as well. But there's something about making a defensive play and being able to stop someone on offense, because it's so hard right now in the highest levels of the sport. So to be able to do that can really have a huge impact in a game as a player. And then also as a fan and a viewer of the sport. I can't say I watch too much. I do like to watch highlight videos, but I'm typically just playing when it comes to like tournaments and such. But when I have had the opportunities from injuries or whatever to watch the game and just be a viewer and a spectator, there's nothing like watching some of the top teams that play defense play. They're my favorite teams to watch. It's exciting to see, as opposed to just hard serves to see people use their athletic abilities to make a defensive play against a really small ball that's hit really fast and there's 360-degree angles. Really hard task to do, but when you see teams that are committed to doing it and see them do that at the highest level, I think that's the coolest part about our sport, and as a spectator, as a viewer as well. So that's kind of the first piece, but to talk or to share a little bit about that, I thought I'd go back to sad times. The last tournament, SRA tournament that I played in was Nationals back in October. And for all of you as well who played in Nationals, that was also your last SRA tournament, unfortunately due to the virus. And so I thought I would show highlight video of Troy and I, who played as Ortega last year. This is a highlight video of that, just to get us started in terms of, hey, why defense? Well, I think it's fun to watch. These are all going to be mainly defensive plays. So I'm going to show that to start, and then you can kind of see the agenda on the screen, and we're going to start diving into that. We're going to break down some film, a little bit of some of the highlight videos, and kind of talk about what I'm doing on defense, what we're doing as a team, how, and kind of go from there. So let's go ahead. I'm going to queue up this video for you guys. And yeah, let's enjoy some defense in roundnet. So if you've seen this already, great. If not, hope you enjoy some of these plays. This is round of 16, Pro Division Nationals, first shake and bake. Nice little play here on a really good hitter, Matt Bonin. Had to fully lay out to get a touch on that ball. This is quarterfinals, playing Hornables or Chornables, I'm not sure, but Skylar and Chris. Pool play of Nationals right here versus Schweppes. Great defensive team. Had some fun rallies in this series. The series also went to 3. There's Troy making a get on 2. Another pool play match here against Power Suite. There's a body up by me. I'm going to go into more about body defense. There's lots of questions about body defense from the Instagram, and I'll get into talking about that. Flexual healing. We played them in pool play, and then we also played them in a really tight series in the third place, fourth place game of Nationals here. There's a fun dive layout there. Back to round of 16 here. Great read by Troy, coming across. Another body up right there, reading the play. Back to the quarterfinals here. All over the place. A little knee of God right there to win it. Another body up. Nice body up by Troy. Here we go. This was a tight series. Great receive by Skylar there. I thought I had a great serve that he ended up getting. Nice track down by Troy. Puts it on the net. Oh, Skylar also loves to lay out. That's not a defensive play. It's just a tweener. Felt like I was playing defense here, just receiving Caleb Heck's serve. We'll go into that a little bit. Serve, receive. Nice get by Preston. Almost puts it on. Crazy. This is semifinals of Nationals. Got a touch there. Troy with a great dig on a deep set there. Finish that play. Little hand touch to slow the ball down. Off screen set. Little tweener finish. Now this is from third, fourth place match. Here we go. That was actually called a carry. Quick hand. Nice finish. Nice read by Troy there. Good lefty finish. Okay, serve ball time. We're not talking about that on this stream. So that is a little bit of intro. And let me just take a quick look at the chat. What was Caleb trying to call on the tween? I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what they were trying to call on that one. I think maybe that they thought I touched the net. It was a clean play, was ruled. Went to observers, was also ruled clean by the observers. Serve ball time. That's not what we're talking about, so I'm going to go back just so it's sitting here. So yeah, that's that first intro. We're gonna go over some other videos, and I'm gonna break those down a little bit in depth. But I'm gonna talk about the second piece on why defense matters. So I talked about A already, best part of the game as a player, as a viewer and a spectator. If you agree with that in spectating roundnet and watching roundnet, maybe you can respond in the chat. If you think otherwise, I'd be interested to hear what that is as well. If there's other aspects of roundnet as a viewer or even as a player that get you more excited about the game, you can answer those in chat. I'd be interested to hear that. Responding to a quick question in chat. How intense was the series versus Hornables? It was surprisingly, I shouldn't say surprisingly, they're very good players individually. They'd only played a couple of tournaments together as a team, but they played really well and took us in a really close series. I believe they won game 1. We came out and won game 2 pretty strong. I believe it was 21-16, 21-15. And then game 3 went to extras. Pretty intense. I think it was like 28-26. Pretty late in extras, and ended up getting a drop ace to win that. So yeah, back to the why defense matters. As you can see, number 2, or the B under the first point of why it matters, growth of the sport. I think there's been a lot of conversation in the Spikeball roundnet page, Facebook page, about how do we improve defense? What do we change about changing the game? Bigger ball, raising the net. I'll probably answer some of that on my opinions at the end of chat during Q&A. There's a couple questions about what I think about those. But I think just all that changes aside, how the sport is right now, I think defense is necessary for the growth of the sport, because I think it is what is going to grow the spectator viewer aspects of the game to get people wanting to watch. I think defense needs to be a factor. And so, yes, some of those changes will probably help that to be reality. But I think at least, I don't know, there's people from all ranges that are watching this in terms of your skill level and where you're playing. I know at the higher level, at the highest level of the sport, there tends to be around some, for good reason, like why defense, why try, because it's so hard. It's so hard to accomplish. And I would say, as I'm going to go into, like, I think it's accomplishable, it's possible. And I think for the growth, again, like, this is what's going to draw people in. These highlights, like seeing teams and players make great plays, athletic plays, maybe as opposed to skilled plays and skills like serving, which are awesome and necessary to the game, makes you a dangerous player as well. But defense really brings out athleticism, which I think draws people to sports in terms of viewership and wanting to watch it. The athleticism to see people do, whether it's really quick reflexes or make a great dive or track a ball down with quick speed or a change of direction. I think that is really exciting to watch. And in order for the sport to continue to grow, we need more people to watch the sport. We need sponsors. We need people that are going to invest in it, and that all is going to require just more fans, more people that want to watch the sport. And so, yeah, defense is important to that for sure. I think it's a big aspect. Let's jump to number C on there, is why defense matters. I think is necessary for a top round net player. And so this is a little bit what I want to talk about in terms of, not being a victim of serve ball. And serving is very important to the sport right now. But I don't think it's the future of the sport. And I think I've seen in younger players or players that are new to the sport that are practicing and playing and getting better, they're mainly focusing on serving. And for good measure, it's the easiest thing to practice by yourself. I'm definitely, when we get back to playing tournaments, man, I'm assuming some people have been working on their serves a lot because it's all they can do. And people's serving game is just going to continue to get better, which maybe doesn't help defense in some ways, as maybe seeming like a necessity. But I think it really is important. And I have a little different perspective maybe on what I consider defense. Obviously, there's the defense in terms of after you serve the ball, a team is receiving and they're getting ready to hit the ball, whether that's on 1 or on 2, usually on 3. On the third touch, people are hitting the ball and you're now playing defense. I think there's a couple other aspects that I would consider defense, which maybe some don't agree with this perspective, but I think they are. First is serve receive. I think serve receive feels like defense to me. You're surely not playing offense at that point. A serve feels like offense. But serve receive is definitely a defensive thing in my opinion. In a lot of ways, it mimics some of those skills of defense. And I think this is a big way, obviously, to combat serve ball, which I don't think is the future of our sport. And serve receive, having a good serve receive is a great way to combat serving. And so, I would say this is actually an aspect of my game that I would like to continue to improve. And it's probably the hardest to improve when you don't have another person constantly serving at you. It's really hard to practice by yourself. That makes it hard. But I will get into later about maybe some ways to practice that. But really, serve receive is about reading the ball, hand-eye coordination, being able to react quickly. Serves are they come in really fast at most levels now. And now angles is a huge aspect of that, being able to cover angles. Footwork is really important to serve receive now, not only hand-eye coordination, but knowing when to use your footwork, your posture, which I think maybe some don't consider in terms of being important to serve receive. And then another aspect that I would say how to combat serve ball, how to become a great round net player. Again, unnecessary for a top round net player. Defense, I'm getting into these factors and elements of defense that I think are defense. Off the net setting. And I know maybe on initial thought, off the net setting doesn't seem like it's offensive or defensive. But I think it is. When serving is to the point where it is right now, where it's very dangerous and the top servers in the game can make you have to cover a lot of ground just to get their serves up to receive them, to get a touch on them, with both hand serving or cut serves, jam serves, etc., reverse cut serves. If you don't know what a cut serve is, it's where you hit the ball. I can try and show you with my hand. You hit the ball, and you put some spin on it with your fingers, and you kind of torque it like this, and the ball will spin like this, and when it hits the net, it takes a different trajectory than it should. With a normal angle on which you hit the ball, it will cut to a certain side because of the spin that you've put on the ball. That makes angles even more wide. So if you're not sure what cut serve is, that's kind of what it does. You'll see the ball kind of jump off the net. Some people, if you're not very acquainted with the game, will think it's a pocket or a roll-up, but you'll see the ball, when people do it in the middle of the net, ball hits the middle of the net, with the spin of a cut serve, it will cut maybe a foot or two to a certain direction. Jam serve, really quick on that. It's just where you hit someone basically straight on in their hip or on their opposite hand because they're expecting you to do a cut serve, and that will force you to go to one side, and a jam serve is just kind of a straight on. A good one is usually a low serve, hard, fast, low serve. That's a little bit of a jam serve if you're not sure with lingo. People call it different things. I call it jam. Let me take a quick pause and look at chat because there's some things I don't want to get past if you're interested in those. So let me look at those really quick. Let's see. Oh, nice. Trick like this. Okay, these are some good questions. I'm gonna come back to some of these and kind of try to stay on my agenda. So, off the net setting. Off the net setting, I think this is an important part of the game, and it is defensive. When you're receiving the ball and someone makes you have a hard touch and you don't have a great receive, now your partner has to bail you out in some ways, or has to help you out and make a great set to get you in a place to play offense that's effective, to be able to hit the ball well, and you have to make a great off the net set in order for your partner to be able to then hit the ball well and to kill the ball. So off the net setting, I think, is a skill that is defensive, that can combat serve ball, that I think a lot of people don't work on. It is pretty hard to work on, definitely by yourself. But if you ever practice the pepper drill in roundnet, peppering is, at least I call it pepper drill. If you know volleyball, it's just bump set spike to your partner. You do that with just a volleyball. You don't need a net. In roundnet, you use the net and a ball. You can do it with sides to really focus on your setting technique and your skill, or you can do it 360. And really, you can kind of practice that by telling, hey, let's hit some balls that are up off the net where you have to go track them as a setter, maybe with your back to the net. That's a great way to practice those. It's a skill that you don't get to do very often when you're playing pickup, or even in a tournament. You maybe get an off the net set 2 or 3 times a game, but 2 or 3 times a game, even throughout a tournament or in pickup, is not enough for that practice skill to be really honed in, unless you've been playing for years now. It needs to be a skill that's honed in order to get it really dialed, so you do it really well. And maybe a good way to do that, I think, even better than just playing pickup and having those off the net sets when they come, is to practice them with a partner, peppering and getting in the rhythm of practicing that repetition of hitting the ball and getting the right weight and trajectory to doing that. That makes you to be able to do off the net setting well. So, and then the last piece on serve ball advice to all those younger people who are watching or people new to the sport. It looks great to have a great serve, but serving only gets you so far. Once you have someone serving back at you, if you can't serve receive, then yeah, you might have got a couple aces. But if you can't serve receive, or you can't hit the ball effectively when you do serve receive, then your serves are they're nullified. So being a top player, there's no top player in the game right now that is only good at serving. All the top players have honed almost all the skills well. Maybe defense, not so much, but if you look at the top 10, most of them are really good at defense. It's because it's an important aspect of the game. Again, that carries over to serve receive, off the net setting. It's not just about serve ball. If you want to be a great round net player, don't just practice your serves. Get with a partner, practice serve receive, practice the soft skills like setting, your technical hits, your touches on defense, and just getting a lot of touches, which I'm going to get into a little bit more. Getting a lot of repetitive touches of the ball, which again doesn't happen a ton in tournaments or in just pickup, because it is a lot of serving and putting the ball away, 1, 2, 3, killing it on 3. But really practicing in a space and environment where you're hitting the ball at each other so you can get a lot of touches. That's going to help you to improve those soft skills, your defensive skills, and that's really going to help you to become a top round net player. So I'm going to get into improving defense here, and we're going to break down another highlight video. I'm going to turn music up a bit while I switch over to this next video. Enjoy the tunes. Just give me 10 seconds and I'll switch it over here. Okay, we'll work on it. Sorry, I'm almost got it up. This is going to be a highlight video. One of my favorites, probably my favorite tournament that I've competed in, or at least the one that's coming to mind right now. Nashville Grand Slam, and this was last year with my partner Troy Mock of Ortega, and it was a really good tournament. Almost all the top teams in the world were there. It's probably my favorite tournament because we happened to win, and we won this tournament with I believe the top 5 teams in the world were all there. So to come out on top was definitely an awesome feeling. Here's this video. I'm going to break down and pause it at different parts to kind of talk about some of the defense that's happening. Oh. Given some chance. I think it's going here. Yep. All right, here we go. So this is, again, Nashville Grand Slam. This is Ortega playing Flexual Healing pool play, and this was a pro division, so only 8 teams in the pro division. These were 2 out of 3 games of 21 in pool play, so it was intense right from the get-go. Here we go. There's a little bit of a first body up, and so a little bit about, I'll spoil some of this. Questions about body defense. I tend to play a good amount of body defense, but it depends. It definitely depends on the setting and the scenario, and covering space. So I'll rewind a little bit just on this first play. I'm serving the ball, and as Travis, who's receiving here, as he's receiving, there's obviously Troy and I are in a position where we're only covering about really 45 degrees of the 360 degrees that are available for him to hit the ball. If the ball's over the middle of the net, that's a lot of options for a top player on to where to put the ball. It's too many options. We're not going to make a defensive play unless he chooses to hit the ball in our direction. So as this play unfolds, we're rotating a little bit, okay? And a key thing on defense for me is, as you can see in improving defense, number 1A is round net IQ. Having the ability to understand the game and understand how to make a play is essential to to making defensive plays. The first thing for me is I'm watching the ball after I serve the whole time. If you can kind of see my heads up, I'm watching the ball. It's a higher set. That gives you more time to react sometimes. And now I'm trying to close this angle. And I knew I couldn't get there because Jarrett was in my way if I was to try and go around. So he has the right as the offensive player to wherever he wants to be setting the ball. So defensively, I have to adjust to that. And again, this is all happening very quickly. So it happens with practice. But knowing where he is kind of out of the corner of your eye and then choosing a position. Can I get around Jarrett fast enough, who's the player setting the ball? Can I get around him fast enough to take away a hit that Travis might want, which pull shots tend to be like a go-to hit for most players. Can I get to a position to take that hit away? Probably not if I go around. So I knew I had to cut inside, get closer, and I chose to play body here. Taking that away and getting that up, making a play on that ball. Here's another one. Similarly, Travis on me, lefty hit here, and he's in a spot where he's tight. My left's not, I'm probably not going to hit the ball quite as hard as I would if it was on my right hand because I'm a righty player. He's in a position where now, as you can see, boom, makes a body up as well. He's in a position to get his body there. Watching the set, he was watching the set the whole time, watching the ball come off, and then reacting after the ball. The play is not over, making a play. Again here, pausing it. You can see Troy is making a read on a lefty hit. That probably means the set was slightly in towards Travis. We knew he had to hit probably with his left hand or with a righty flick shot. And to be able to cut those angles. So being able to react, cut the angles there, and get to that ball in a position to make a play. Troy makes a great touch, finishes that off. Here we go, another play. Quick set. Now see, Troy, sometimes when you're playing body defense, you're a little closer to the net. It's really about positioning, being in the right spot at the right time. Sometimes people say, oh, body defense is lucky. For some people, it can be lucky, but it's only, I think a lot of the time, if you're in the right position at the right time, and you made an effort to get in that place, that's good defense. Troy made an adjustment here. As you can see, he's watching the ball. Look where he's coming from. So he didn't start in the position where he's getting this ball. He serves. He's shifting around Travis so he's not stuck behind him. He's watching the set now. He's watching the ball the whole time. I think a lot of people focus on reading the hitter and their technique, where their shoulders, their hips. That's all really good. That's important stuff to making a defensive play. But even before you do that, the main thing for me in defense, again, this took a long time to get to, is reading the set and not just watching the set. This is what happens when you first learn to read the set, is you're just watching. Let me turn the music down here. You're just watching. You watch the set, but your body's not reacting to what you're seeing. It takes practice and muscle memory to get to a place of, again, this comes into roundnet IQ, of knowing if a ball is set on one side of the net. Simple IQ here. Most of the time, the ball is going to go in the direction opposite of where that ball is on that side of the net. If it's far outside the rim on the right side of the net, it's only going to be able to be hit in the opposite direction, right? But now you have to learn not only to read that and to know that, but then to react as you're watching the play unfold. So be able to react to where the ball is being set, and then teaching your body to react quickly to what your eyes are seeing and what is processing in your brain. Of, okay, I see the ball is being set there. Now I have to react with my body. So Troy sees it. He even sees that this is a higher where the ball is being contacted is kind of a higher location. Typically, if you hit the ball at just a pointer on hitting, if you know this if you've been playing, but for anyone who's newer, the longer you wait on the ball and the lower you hit the ball, closer it is to the net. Typically, the lower the trajectory of the ball is going to be, which makes it harder to dig a ball if it's lower. If you're hitting it lower to the net, lower angles, that makes it really hard to make a defensive play on a ball. So as you can see, because of the set here, Jared's contacting the ball a little higher off the net. Troy knows, hey, the ball's probably going to go higher up. It's not going to go super low. So he's even positioning his body in a place to then make a play on a ball that's hit higher. As you can see as well, I think another thing with body defense is not concaving, not letting the ball hit you, but really making your body like a board. If you've ever hit into a wall or a board, the ball bounces back because your body's firm and you've kind of put your body in a place, and the angle, again, if you're hitting into a wall, like the angle of the wall is going to determine where the ball goes. The same with your body. So as you can see here, if Troy just stays straight upright like a board, this ball is going to go right back at Jarrett, and I'm going to have no chance on the ball. But because he sees the ball playing, good body defense, they know where their partner is. He sees I'm close to him. He doesn't want that ball to go directly the opposite way. He wants it to go up so that I can make a play. He tilts his body, as you can see in slow-mo. He tilts it back. Hits him upper, kind of near his shoulder, almost on top of his chest. He tilts back a little bit, just enough to get enough of the piece of the ball to deflect it way up in the air. I'm able to track it down. Nice finish. Oh, well, he digs it. But play ends at that outs of there. Perfect. Okay, here's another play. Boom. Great body by Jarrett. Similar play here. That's a little on the outside. Jarrett's tight enough to where he can get his body to cut enough angle, right, on the ball. Look how upright he is. He even jumps into it because he knows I'm kind of going for a higher shot trajectory-wise. He leans back a little bit, but he swallows it well. He's stiff enough to give... Look at how this ball just pops straight up. Uses his arms even to kind of guide the ball. I think that's another thing that I try to do when I'm close to the net. If I'm playing tight and it's a low hit, I really try to guide the ball with my arms as well to get a touch with your hand or with your forearm, guide the ball up. That's a thing that kind of takes practice. Again, as you're watching, you have to be able to watch. You're not just standing there trying to take up space. You're really watching the ball and the hit the whole time to, one, not be in the way of the hitter, but also to time it. It's all about timing, like timing when you're posturing your body, when you're bringing your arm into it to try and make a play. It's all about the timing there. So great timing there by Jarrett. Good read by Troy. Nice finish. Here we go. This is I believe semifinals. Actually, this might be pool play as well. Good touch. Run down. Nice little on. Hey, sometimes you just get it on, they'll make a mistake. Jam serve. Quick 1-2-3 defense there. Body up. Let's go back on this a little bit. Oh, here we go. Okay, positioning. As you can see here, I'm sitting on his right hand. So, okay, another thing about IQ, roundnet IQ, is importance to defense is, there's some questions about this. Do you know, like knowing players' hitting tendencies, knowing how they like to hit the ball, and again, this just comes with experience of playing certain players enough, or, if it's studying film, if you like to watch film, and you're going against a certain opponent, and you're like, man, I can never get a defensive play on this person. Look at their hitting tendencies. Do they like to hit in a certain way? Just like it's like in basketball or in other sports, people have tendencies. That's not a bad thing, but it's just kind of people have things that they like to go to. Can you pick up on those? Can you pick up on what they like to do? If you're a righty player, right-handed hitter, or if you're a left-handed hitter, the most common hit that is a good hit for most people is a big righty hit, like a righty strong hit across your body, or where you pull the ball, and a pull just means you're kind of, or wrap is also called, you're pulling it back towards your body and hitting it opposite way. So knowing your opponent's hitting tendencies. I'm in his right hand. To start this play, I'm reading, all right, my goal is I'm taking away the right hand. That's my objective on this. In terms of defensive strategy, another important thing is, I'm going to get into this, it takes two people to play defense well. It's really hard to play defense just by yourself. If your partner has no buy-in to playing defense, it's going to be really hard to make a play when you're just playing defense alone, because there's too much net to cover. It's 360 degrees, especially at the highest level. You can't cover 360 by yourself. It really takes two to kind of break down and narrow the angles that are available for a hitter. So in this scenario, again, I'm on the right hand. Troy's got the left hand. If the set goes that way, it doesn't. I'm swallowing up the right hand. Notice how I'm leaning back. I'm shorter, so I can get one knee down and keep one up. That way I can quickly get to my feet, or I can react if he tries to dump it into me, and to be able to react quickly to get the ball up. So that's how I do it. I'm leaning back here. My arms are low. I like to be able to use my hands low if I need to, unless I see the trajectory of the hit is going to be high. They're trying to go over my body defense. Then I'll bring my hands up to play upwards to try and stop that ball. But here they're low, so that I can use them and cover more surface area with my body. Lean into it, pop straight up. Nice over the head set by Troy. Finish out that play. Here we go. Here's an example. High set. All right, it's to the off side of the net. It's going to be a lefty hit. Troy and I both know it, as you can see in the screen here. And again, this is another thing I'm jumping down to. B, in improving defense, it takes effort. It takes effort throughout the day to play. It takes effort when you're practicing. It takes effort when you're playing in the game. And you can't just have effort on, all right, it's 18-18, the game's getting close, you're playing to 21, I'm going to have effort for these last 3 or 4 points. Yeah, that's great, but you might not get a defensive opportunity. If it's a good, clean serve receive, a great set over the middle of the net, the odds are they're going to put the ball away, and it's too late. You don't get a chance for an opportunity to make a defensive play. Often, to make a defensive play, you need to be trying to do it throughout a game, and you're kind of waiting for your opportunity to strike to make a defensive play. Here, it's like, okay, the set's a little high, it's a little off, left hand. We know he's hitting left hand. Both of us are ready to break on this ball. We're both reading it, we're breaking, trying to cover that space. We're close enough to the net where the hitter is concerned, okay, I probably can't drop because they're both close. They're close enough within the 6-foot range. So he's like, I got to swing hard. I got to swing through him. We both break on the ball. I get a touch here. Troy gets me back to the net. They make a read. We get lucky there. They make a mistake, but we win the point because we made a play there defensively. Let's see. Yes, hopefully the music is down enough now. Is this making sense in chat? If you have questions in the chat about anything clarifying on that, shoot them my way in the chat. I can try to answer. But let's get back to this. Film a little bit. Here's a little bit more. Reading the play. Nice body up by Troy. Deep set. Gets it on. We don't get that point. But again, we're trying. Usually on each play, we're committed to defense. Those are some aces. Quarterfinals here. Getting back to defense. Body up. Reading the play. Big right hand. Troy's playing tight here. Another part about question was, okay, how do I know when a player should be close, when one should be far away? Do we both stand off the net? Do we both stand too close and play body defense? Often, maybe you've heard the term funneling. Funnel defense is a way to play defense. Here's an example of some funnel defense, which Troy and I would do because we do like, and Zach and I as well, for Point Loma Spike, my previous teammate, we would like to do that with one of us being closer to the net and one of us maybe playing a little bit off. Because if you are having someone closer to the net, potentially for a body up, if you're both really tight on the net, it's going to be really hard to get that second touch. If they're close to the net, they have to turn around quickly if the ball's not perfectly up, which is often hard to do with your body. But here's an example. Not necessarily defense, but your guys' long sets are insane. Oh, thanks. So again, here's an example of funnel defense. Troy's tight. He's covering the pull shot. Again, the hit that is like wraps right next to your body. A great shot on offense. But Troy's right in that spot, as you can see, and he's tight. I'm trying to cover the push as well as just the normal like cross your body hit. So here it plays out. Troy sees it's not going to be a pull, and I'm in the vicinity, again, because I'm closing on the ball. He leaves it and opens his body almost towards me so that if it is hit into him, the ball is going to go in my direction. See that here? He opens his body towards me, so if he does get a body up and Matt Bonin hits into him here, it's going in my direction. But he leaves it because it's more in my direction. I get a touch. Here we go. Nice set over the middle net. Finish. Get a defensive break there. Here we go. We're moving. I think another thing is some people don't like to do this, but I do. People don't move on defense, and then they're like, oh, I'm going to see the set, and then I'm going to move. Maybe sometimes that works if you're in good positioning and the set is towards you, but often it's easy for a hitter, especially if it's a quick set or it's a good set. You know where the players are. If they're not moving at all, okay, I know those spots. I've already seen it because I'm serve receiving. Your mind is just telling you that's where they are. If you don't move on defense early, maybe it's a little bit easier for a hitter. So we're moving here. He doesn't quite know where we are. Troy's around his back a little bit. That's hard for a hitter. Man, where's Troy at? I don't know where he is. Troy reads it. Nice spot here again in the right spot. Right, taking away a good hit, a hit that a player likes to do. Quick up. I'm in a position to make a play. We end up getting the point. Here we go. Again, important. Watching the set. You can see me watching the ball the whole time. Not just the set, but even the receive. Where's the receive going? It's backing the setter up a little bit. Okay, and that means I know I can take up a little bit more space, maybe inside the setter now once this ball's set. I cut across because I see the set. Oh, to the left. I'm a little late getting there. But make a touch, getting up. Nice upset by Troy. And then they get the dig, they get the point. So here's another aspect. Playing defense when you're playing from a position of playing offense. So again, in high-level round net right now, majority of the time, all the time, you're expected, if you get a good receive and you get a good set, to put the ball away. That means to kill the ball so that the other team can't make a defensive play. That's what's expected of you. In the chances, and when it does happen, a team makes a defensive up on you, can you turn around and react and play defense when you've been on offense? Here's a good example of David Gonzalez making a play. I make a play on his hit. Again, making that play. But look at him now. He's watching the ball. He's like, oh man, my hit my hit got dug, I'm not just going to be like, oh, what? That's not supposed to happen. I'm going to give up this point. Look, he's reading it, and he reads the set here. He sees that it's a high set. It's not over the middle of the net, which means I don't have every direction to hit the ball. I've got to hit it towards where he is. He knows it's off the net, or I got to back up. He's got to back up to give himself time to be able to react to this ball. I hit it pretty cleanly, hard at him, but he backed up, makes a good defensive play, finishes the point off. Here we go. Good spot. Troy not giving up on the play again. We were receiving the ball here, so not trying to get broken here. Gets a touch off the net. Here comes the ball. Boom. Nice finish. Fun play. This is a fun series against these guys. Nice hit. Nice body up, unfortunately. And again, here's another reality of playing defense is sometimes, again, I was forced to make a hard hit because it was a great serve by David. I was down on the ground. Bonin, who's in the white tank top, he's in a good position here. See, as you can see where the ball is. Again, this is just a little hitting piece. Look how low the ball is, close to the net. That's generally how you can hit the ball hard, low, hard to make a defensive play. I was a little off balance, so I popped the ball higher than I usually would like to hit it. Bonin's in a great spot here. He gets his body in a position to make a play on my hit. He's a little flat. See, he's straight upright, and if you know Matt Bonin, he's a strong guy. So he's like a wall here. So he's straight upright, his body. Because of that, see how far the ball bounces away from David. Too far to make a play. Now, if he's a little bit leaned back here, again, watching the ball, nose is coming at him. It's going to make contact with him at a high velocity because I'm coming in to hit the ball hard. If he leans back a little bit more, this ball is going to pop up. It's going to give David a chance. But unfortunately, he's flat, and so it bounces away. These are some serves. Getting past that. Semifinals, here we go. Pausing here to take a drink because I've been talking a lot. Wow. 30 minutes. All right, I'm going to start jumping past this because I can talk. Man, it's already almost 50 minutes gone by. Hopefully this is helpful. If you're in stream and you're watching and you're like, come on, show some more film, just let it play through. Let me know. I've got some other videos I'd like to show, but I'm trying to kind of help break it down. Again, we're talking about kind of these aspects right here. Roundnet, IQ, just to go over, reading the set, positioning, hitting tendencies, and this one's super important. It takes two players, both people to, broke down in my opinion, perfect. It takes two players to commit to playing defense for it often to work well. I played pickup with tons of people, and I'm considered one of the higher defensive players, and I can go games where I don't get defensive completions, or I can get ups, but they're not converted if my partner is not committed to playing defense, or is not committed to making a play. It becomes really hard. So it's important for both people. Here we go. Boom. Making a play. A little lucky with the finish there. Rotating, okay? So I'm rotating. Again, here's another defensive tip. Our starting positions as players, Troy and I, in the black. We're both on Joel Graham, who's receiving. We're on his left hand here. So we're both in his left hand. I'm in his push, maybe his righty push. But Troy is on his lefty pole. I'm kind of in his lefty cross shot. We're kind of both in a position to make a play on his left hand. He's right-handed, so that's not ideal for us defensively because if it's a good set, he's got 75 degrees, more than that actually. He's got almost 180 degrees to hit the ball with his right hand where there's no coverage of defense. That's an easy 1-2-3 put away if we don't get into position to stop that right hand. So this plays out. We know that. I know that. I got to get into position. I can get to his right hand. If he wants to hit with his right hand, which looks, oh, yep, he wants to hit righty. Now I'm in a position to make a play. As you can see, I'm behind the setter because it was a good receive. That means it took Jesse close to the net. That means I have to go behind him. So I'm a little behind him, but it's a middle of the net set, great set. Because it's a good set, I'm coming tighter to close more angle. If I'm 6-7 feet off the net here, Joel is too good of a hitter. He'll either just, if I'm in his pole position, pole hitting spot, he'll push it by me and I won't be able to make a play. If I'm standing in his push position, he'll just hit a pole and they'll make the play. Because I know that, because I've played him enough or maybe watched him play, I know he's a good enough hitter that I have to close more angle. And the only way to do that with my frame as someone who's 5'6", with 5'7" with shoes, is I got to be closer to the net to close more surface area. So I do that, which is why I like to play body defense. Get low. He's a good low hitter. Look how long he waits to hit the ball here. Really low to the net. It's going to come in low. I'm watching that. I see that. That means I know I got to get lower. So look, I get low on the ground. One knee to the ground. Quick hand here. I make a hand play. Again, using your hands as well when you're playing body defense. Timing. Again, timing. As he's swinging, I'm following through to pop that ball up. To kind of time it, to combat the hit, to kind of pop it up. Boom. Pops it up. That ball goes way up in the air. Hard set a little bit. Not a great finish by me. We ended up not getting the point. Good dig off the net. Nice finish. All right, here's an example. High set. Jesse loves his tweeners, which, he hits great tweeners. So if you can hit good tweeners, it's fun to hit him. He likes to hit that tweener. I can see that. I can see the set's high and the swing looks big. So I'm saying I'm choosing in this scenario to go off the net. I'm getting back. I'm reacting. Make a play. I'm off the net here, probably 10 to 12 feet. No balls. Yeah, boom. Make a play here. Didn't make the play, but hey, the next one, I think I'm going to get the next ball. No balls touch the ground. That's the motto. You got to have the defensive mindset that you believe you're going to make the play. Finals. Okay. All right, and as this is playing, I'm just going to talk about the last couple pieces about improving defense. Okay. Reaction skills. All right, effort and practice. Obviously, reaction skills are necessary to playing good defense, to serve receiving. The best way to do this, again, like I said earlier, have people hit balls at you. Learn how to use your hands. I would advise, people ask me this, should you practice body? I try to tell all players who are trying to get better, really most levels, is to practice your defense from 6 to 7 feet away. Stand in that realm. Try to practice rotating at 6 to 7 feet away. And use your hands. Use your hands. They're the best part. You have the most control over your hands when you're playing defense. So hand-eye coordination, use your hands. Practice using your hands a bunch. Once you can get better at that, then you can learn when to start coming in and playing body defense. I see a lot of people, sometimes they just use it as, it's a lazy form of defense for some. Is just, I'm going to serve the ball and I'm going to come in towards the net, play body defense. That's not good defense. If you don't know how to play body defense well, it's not going to work. It takes a lot of practice to be able to do it well, And again, starts with, if you can, ideally, you're off the net around 6 to 7 feet using your hands. Get good at using your hands. You're going to make the most plays with your hands if you're trying to play defense. I'm going to play another video here. Actually, we're at 1:06:132. I'm going to actually just jump. Yeah, I'm going to play it, and I'm going to start answering some of these questions. But let me finish off this piece. Endurance. I think this is something that doesn't get talked about a lot that I think is important. Defense takes effort. Again, it takes effort to be able to do it. You can't just do it on 4 or 5 plays when you need a defensive break. You kind of got to do it throughout the game to give yourself more opportunities to do that. And the reality is defense, good defense, takes effort. It takes energy, which becomes really crucial in a long, if you ever played in an SRA tournament, an official tournament. If you are playing in the later stages of tournaments to the quarters, semis, finals, it's hours and hours of playing Spikeball around that. It's a lot. So it takes effort. But I think endurance is, you want to get better at defense. You look at the best players at defense, they're all in pretty good shape. And they can maintain giving the effort it takes to play defense throughout the entirety of a tournament because they've trained themselves to have the endurance to do that, to be able to make make cuts or track down a ball, sprints, have the leg strength to be able to do that throughout a tournament. So that is one way I think to get better at defense that's not talked about, that allows you to do that. Can you make great defensive plays not only in pool play or in the round of 16, but can you do it in the finals when you're really tired? Do you have enough energy to still put in the effort to move, to get in the right positioning? It's really hard to do, but I think you can work on your endurance, running, ladder drills, etc. I don't do that anymore, but I come from a background of soccer where I'm playing soccer in college and kind of having to do that and keep up my fitness. So I think that's helped me to be able to equate that well to doing and playing round net defense later on in tournaments. Let's see, a couple questions. Someone's saying, playing sand so your endurance will improve dramatically. Yes. Also, playing sand defense in sand is very hard because sand is grueling on your legs and your endurance. Let's see. Last couple things around game variations. I mentioned this, playing the pepper, but another thing that I like to do to get better at defense, but it's also just fun, is to change up the ways that you play pickup, the type of games you play. And for me, sometimes, like if you can get playing indoors, whether it's playing off the walls or you're playing with a bounce, some people think that's detrimental to your improving your round net game. I don't think it is. I think if you can, what I like to do if I'm playing one bounce is only use the bounce when you need it. Like if it's a long set, don't bail yourself out and let the ball bounce and then take the set. Take the hard set if it's off the net or it's a hard hit. Try to use it. Only use that bounce when you need it to increase rallies to get more touches. Again, I think a big thing to making defense, to getting better at defense, is you got to get in the practice of getting touches. And when you're playing high-level round net, those touches are hard to come by. That's just the reality of where the sport is right now. And so practicing that, whether that's playing sides, I think sides is really helpful, where you're even practicing your positioning on defense as a player. When you only have to cover 180 degrees, can you learn to cover 180 degrees? So playing even 2v2 with sides, I did this a lot when I was rehabbing my ankle off surgery, still wanting to get touches. I couldn't make a lot of cuts or really move for 360-degree play yet. So I was like, all right, let's play sides because I can't move a lot, but I can still practice getting reactionary touches on a ball at 5 to 6 feet away, etc. So playing games, whether it's just one-on-one as well, cut it in half. Practice hitting the ball at each other. Can you hit the ball at each other and make a play and keep the rally going when you're peppering? Getting touches. I also posted a video on getting touches by yourself on Mammal Roundnet, which is my new team for this year, if we get to play this year with Josh. So yeah, that's also another little plug. As you can see, follow Mammal Roundnet on Instagram for a chance to win a free Blackout Pro set. If you've followed Mammal Roundnet at any point during this, you'll be entered in to win that free pro set, which is great. And yeah, but you can see that on Mammal Roundnet on the story as the place a way to practice up against the wall. If you're quarantined and you have no one else to practice with, which, like me, that's a reality, or it has been, you can practice against the wall, etc. Someone's adding that. Perfect. Yeah, that's a way to practice. And again, with this drill, I kind of explain it in the drill. Swinging hard at the net so the ball comes back to you quickly. That's a good way to practice getting those touches. All right, I'm going to show you one more video here, just as a throwback to some good defense. That was fun. This is Nationals 2018. Hopefully Nationals 2020 is going to happen. But this Point Loma Spike, Zach Wood and I, arguably the best defensive team that year in 2018. This is playing some defense. Again, for us, we were committed to playing defense. This was, I believe, 2018. It was still one serve, so you couldn't. Why is I believe it was only one serve, and now it's 2 serve rule. But you didn't get a fault, so getting your serve on was even more important. But it also made defense, I think, a little bit more important because serving was nerfed a tad because you weren't able to get 2 cracks at making a great serve. So yeah, defense was super important, and we were committed to defense. And so here's a little highlight of, this is Nationals making defensive plays. This is a long rally on sand. They made some good defensive touches here as well. Ratones. Here's a good read by them. He's right in my pull shot. Again, I'm running after tracking a ball. The open shot, as you can see, in between the 2 players, the drop's not open. The push is really the best shot here to try and finish the ball. Nice hand to get my push shot right where I was trying to put the ball in the open gap space. But pockets it. We keep the ball play alive. Finally finish that play off, win the point. Here's another one. Nice thing about if you play tight, you can get shorts easily, so that's a benefit to playing tighter defense. But a negative to playing tighter defense is you have less time to react. Last bit here with best up-and-coming defender. That's a good question as I play this. Some of the stream chat questions. Who is the best upcoming defender? Man, I don't know. It's weird because I've been away from the game for a while. I mean, I'm biased. I think Josh is going to be a really good defensive player and already is. Warren Foote comes to mind. I know the West a little bit better than the other places, so take that bias into consideration. He is a good defensive player. He works hard and he can track balls, so that's again important. Look at this, man! What a play here! Hand, just stone hands that ball. Incredible, straight up to me. That's got to be one of the best plays of the tournament here by Zach Wood on a great hitter, Alvino. So he knows, look, he's taking away the push shot. I'm not in position to take the pull. Zach's aware of that. So he's kind of putting out an effort. All right, got to make a stop on that hit. Putting the hand out, eyes it. Man, pops it straight up. Finish the point. Big point, round of 16. This is third place match against Vengeance of Nationals. Again, reading the sets off here in a good spot. Finishes it. That's just a sweet tweener. Okay, here's some examples of playing tighter. And a last piece on I guess defensive advice is you got to know your skill sets as a player and as a person. If you're 6'8", like, or 6'7", like Patrick Drucker, if you know who that is, he's one of the OGs in our community. Still one of the best and most dangerous players in the game. If you're 6'7", like him, I think it would be foolish to be playing body defense because he covers a ton of ground with his wingspan and his height by playing off the net. So he can take a lot of angle away by standing 6-7 feet away from the net to make a play on a ball, as opposed to someone who's like my height, or I'll throw Tyler Chiswick in there. We don't get to cover as much ground by standing 6 to 7 feet away because our wingspan's not as much. It's harder to cover as much space. So that's why I choose to play a little tighter on the net most of the time, so I can cover more degrees just in terms of hitting spaces. But another thing is you got to know your skills in terms of can you track down balls? Are you quick enough to track down balls? Maybe that's one of your strengths. So maybe you play more off. Is your partner tall? Maybe you should play tighter and your partner plays off more because he's taller. Maybe you're both tall, and so you both play off the net. Body defense is only necessary when you're in a position, when you're out of position, or when you need, it's obvious where the player is hitting a ball, or you're playing a really good hitter, and they have too many options, even with you off the net. Here's a defensive read again. This is on a great hitter. Dylan, he hits low. So look at where my arm positioning is here. I'm taking away the push, but I know he likes the flick shot. And it's a low flick. So my arm is low to be able to be in a position to pop that ball up and bringing, not just keeping my hand in a standstill place, because then it'll most likely just hit and go off, but I have to guide the ball with my arm at the same time. So guiding the ball, see how I bring it up, and it almost helps the ball just get popped up. So I'm watching the ball the whole time, popping it up with my arm, straight up to Zach. Finish that play off, win the point. So yeah, that's mainly what I got for you guys. If you've got more chat questions on what I just shared, or want to talk about anything else, I'm going to be hanging out for a little bit longer. Shoot some questions in the chat. I haven't eaten dinner because this is 5:30 Pacific Standard Time, so I'm getting a little hungry, so I'll go for a little bit longer, answer some of these questions in the meantime. I'll just have another video play. Get to some of the questions that were answered over Instagram. If there's any more on chat, I'm going to take a stab at those too. How much do you communicate during games on defense, and how do you communicate? That's a good question. During games on defense, I'd say a good amount. Prior to a game, I definitely like to talk with my partner about, okay, let's make sure we're on the same page. I think being on the same page defensively is important. Obviously, like I said earlier on, you got to adapt. You got to adapt in Spikeball because you don't know where the set is going, and it changes each game by each player and team that you play. So you need to adapt. I don't think it's just concrete to like certain rotations on defense that people do or certain styles. Yes, they can work in certain scenarios, but you got to be adaptable too to reading the set. Sometimes things go out the water. If the set's way off, maybe both players collapse close because it's like, oh, he's going to drop the ball. Or you can see he can only hit in one spot. We both got to change our positioning and take off to that direction. But there's definitely a good amount of communication prior to a game, trying to know, okay, what any defensive tendencies this player or hitting tendencies this player likes to do. Where do we need to be? What do we want to? How are we feeling energy-wise? Are we gassed? Do we need a break? If so, maybe we don't play. We change our defense a little bit. Maybe it's not just running a bunch because we're in sand. It's like, man, I don't know if we're going to make it to the next round with enough energy if we keep playing defense like this. So maybe you got to switch it up, take it game by game. It's situational. I think that comes into the roundnet IQ as being important in being able to navigate later games. Hopefully that answered that. Do you follow a strict diet? I'm definitely more conscious of my diet now than I used to be when I was in college and I was a younger version and always working out and running a lot. I've recently switched to not fully plant-based, but definitely vegetarian. If any of you guys have seen the documentary, what's that documentary? Game Changers. It's called Game Changers. It was enough to convince me because I've had injury problems for a while. Of like, hey, why not give it a try if my diet can help with potential like inflammation aspects and healing, and just like performing better in terms of like athletically. Then I was up for trying that. So I've been going strong on vegetarian. And trying to minimize dairy products since Christmas, essentially. And it hasn't been too hard, even for someone who I love meat. I like meat, but I've been able to give it up. So I don't know if it's had a drastic change, honestly, in my athleticism or my body feeling better, but it's definitely good environmental reasons. There's a lot of good reasons to make that switch. And so I chose to do that. When are the mammal jerseys getting revealed? I'm probably going to do that tomorrow because they have come in. I'm going to post a 3D version of them on Instagram, I believe, tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. I think they're pretty sweet. Hopefully we'll get to wear them soon. That's my hope. I would love to get it all dirty and muddy and sandy because all my jerseys end up that way after playing in one tournament or a season. Yeah, good question. Thoughts on bigger ball or taller net? Which would lead to better rallies and more defensive touches? So in the off season, I've tried both. Not this past off season so much because I had ankle surgery in November, but I definitely like the raised net. I've tried that and I think it makes a lot of sense. I think somewhere in the 6-inch range, raising it 6 to 8 inches. Well, I don't know. I'd have to go back and look, but I think 6 inches is not too drastic. You can still hit tweeners. It'll be harder for someone who's shorter like me, for sure. Which tweeners I think is like an awesome part of the game. If you don't know what a tweener is, it's where you hit the ball through your legs with your feet. Just a cool shot. You can still dive over that, which is a big aspect of my game, as people like to point out and comment. So diving over the net and hitting, which is just fun to do, and can be good hitting and is cool to watch. You can still do that on a net that's raised 6 inches. Yes, it makes those opportunities less, but I think it's definitely worth the increase potential in defense and creating more rallies, which it definitely helps when the net is raised. It doesn't nerf serving, in my opinion. it will take a major adjustment, I think, for people to adjust and get used to serving with a net, not at the height that it is. However, I don't think it changes too much of the game. So I think it is a viable solution. Again, a lot of people will probably be up in arms about that for a while if that were to be the change. But it was similar for when the Switch was, I remember when I was just getting into the sport and there was net change from the regular net to the Pro Net. And I hated the Pro Net initially, but I was also a young player, immature player. And I hated it initially because it was just, I don't know, it was so different. But once we played on it enough, after a month, it was like, oh, this is great. These balls are way better. You can do a lot more with it and have a lot more control. In terms of bigger ball, I mean, I like playing roundnet the way it is right now. I'm not a huge, I'm not quitting the game because it's so hard to play defense currently as it is. Yes, I would love to see it become easier. So I'm for both these options. I think a slightly bigger ball is a no-brainer. I think I've been in this camp for a little bit. Again, I think the worst part about it is the adjustment period. It will take adjusting to hitting with a bigger ball some time. I don't think it should be drastically bigger. I liked what people posted recently about like the just slightly bigger. Someone posted like a blow up like mini basketball thing that's similar texture. I think it's a great idea. I think it would definitely lead to more rallies. I mean, a bigger ball will definitely lead to easier hand-eye coordination, probably slow the ball down a little bit. It would definitely make it easier to play defense, which I am definitely for because, again, it's what brought me into the sport. I think it's what's going to continue to grow the sport. I think it's the best part of the game. And I'm getting older, so I can't, just keep diving around. I need it to become easier. So I'm all for both of them. I think it's going to be, again, just hard to make that adjustment in the competitive scene. However, with the way that this season has been nullified, like maybe this is a great time to make those major adjustments and have people have a long off season to make that shift and get accustomed to the new equipment to play competitively with. I think it could make some sense if tournaments continue to get canceled. Let's see. Thanks for the good tips. You are welcome, Jake. I wonder, yeah, I'm sure I know you, Jake. I don't have a picture to go with it, but good. Thanks for being communicative and interactive on the chat. All right, get your last questions in there. Z Wood said, Mammals 3, you hit it here. You heard it here. Hey. That guy's been in the number 3 position before. Number 3 team in the world, so he kind of knows what he's talking about, I think. Any other questions? Let's see. Last questions if you have them. If not, I'm going to leave you with this last highlight video. You can find these videos and other games if you'd like on my YouTube channel. I think it's like K Ortega. If you search, if you just search like Ortega, Spikeball, or Point with Spike, you'll probably find it. But if you like watching highlight videos, you can check those out. I usually post most of roundnet stuff there. But yeah, let me show you this last one. It's a fun one if I can get it up. Come on. This is from Seattle tour stop from last year. This was actually Troy and I's first tournament, my first tournament back from ankle surgery. And it went really well. It was a really competitive tournament. And we ended up getting second. CS was at this tournament, and so was Boisterous. Anchored LI ended up beating CS, and then we ended up losing to Boisterous in the final. It is not wanting to play. It's not working here for me. I swear I'll get this. Give me 30 seconds. 30 seconds. I'm still in the 30-second range. Oh, here it is. Got it. Okay. I'm going to play this for you. Leave you with this. And then... yeah, check out some fun plays here. This was a good quarterfinal matchup versus Spikers. Real good team. Good battle. Went to 3. Fun layout there. Again, if you want a chance to win a free Blackout Pro set, follow Mammal Roundnet if you don't already on Instagram. And you'll be getting updates, and we post a lot of highlights and stuff on there. So hopefully you can follow our season. If and when the season comes, please let it come. So yeah, it's been good hanging out with you guys. Hope you enjoyed. Hope this was helpful. Hopefully I didn't give you too many good tips so that you get reads and make defensive plays on all my hits, but hopefully it was helpful. 1 year ago today. Oh, yeah. Oh, that was 1 year ago today almost. Yeah, it was today. Seattle Tour Stop. Great tournament. Super fun. Here's us playing Anchored semifinals. Fun rally. Oh, this next one was a great rally. Right here. One of my favorite series I've ever been in. Oh, good question. I don't know how I was able to do that after ankle surgery. I'm thankful to my doctor for doing a good job. 6 months later. Favorite series? Gosh, what do you think? Help me out. I want to ask Troy or Zach if they've been on here.
Nashville or San Francisco.
I mean, definitely third place, getting third at 2018 Nationals versus Vengeance. We'd wanted to play them all year long and never had the opportunity. And there was a little bit of rivalry between us, and we finally got to play them and won that. To get on the podium at Nationals 2018, that was big. That was a fun moment. It happened to be in Santa Monica, which Zach and I are both from San Diego. So we had a lot of our friends and family watching that game, and we had a big crowd. Even though the finals was going on across the way, we had a big crowd watching the semis, the third place game, and people joined in afterwards to watch that. So it was good atmosphere, that game. One tournament that comes to mind, well, two series that I wish I could have back. First one was 2018, and it was Zach and I, Portland with Spike, playing a mashup of Ryan Fitzgerald and Dylan Fogarty. This was right after Zach and we won our first tour, our pitcher together. We beat Wabi Sabi in San Francisco, and then the following week we went out to Chicago to play in the Chicago Grand Slam, I believe. And we ended up, it was the longest series in SRA history. It was like 21-19. Game 2 went 50-48. We won Game 2 50-48. And then Game 3, I believe, was like 28-26. And there was a couple iffy calls from observers that we wish we had that one back. But it would have been awesome to win that back-to-back in the longest series in history, but still was an epic series against two great players. And then my other one would have been, wish we could have had back and replayed, was this previous third place Nationals game against Flexual Healing. We beat them in 2 in pool play earlier in the day, and then we lost a really tight series in 3 in the third place game. I think the last game, Game 3, was 28-26 as well. So grueling matchup. Was really fun. Last favorite team to play against? Probably Anchored. I think I've been asked this before, but Anchored, they're also like one of the best, and have been for a long time, defensive teams. So we had some really fun highlights and rallies, as you can see from here. I'll just replay these for you. But yeah, they try on defense. They know how to play defense well, so it leads to a lot of good rallies. And they're both just really great guys too. I love Fitzy and Ann as people. So even in the times that I've lost to them, I've been okay because they're good people. So it's been fun to have some good battles against them for sure. All right. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Hope to see you soon at a tournament. Yeah, say hi to me if you can. I know I'm intense and super focused in games. That's just because I'm a focused, passionate competitor. But love to say hi to me before a tournament or after tournament. Even if I've never met you or you're a new player, would love to say hi. Because, yeah, the community is part of what makes roundnet special. So I hope to see you at one soon. Thanks for hanging out. Bye.